Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Cove Club, the interview show where we try to talk to all peoples in the entertainment industry for all things creative. Today, as one of my guests, is um, a relatively a relatively neat up and comer that my Twitter admin of Nick told me about of Mitch Xander.
What's going on?
So, Mitch, before we get started, would you like to regale the people with a little bit of what you've been up to in the field thus far, so people can get like a nice little nibble at the dishes that you serve up for their entertainment palates?
Sure. Um, well, starting out, I kind of did what everybody does that might not have the money to pay for classes. I just kind of went online and found projects to audition for uh and kind of just networked with people and joined sites and all that good stuff. And it it was pretty quick for me to start like actually getting cast for roles. It My first role was cast within like 2 weeks of me voice acting, and it was out of luck a little bit because he didn't like have very many auditions, and I actually really wasn't what he was like looking for. I was just using my normal voice like a young adult because I'm a mid range actor, and that's what I primarily, voice act is, like, young adult characters, and he was looking for, like, uh, a teen character that kind of sounded really high pitched and, like, almost annoying, and I didn't know that. He didn't really describe that in his, audition format thing, casting call, it's a better word. So I just auditioned with kinda like my normal voice, and he liked my voice, and I think he kinda just said, "Screw it, I'll just cast him, I don't really care that he doesn't sound annoying and squeaky sounding." And, it was something of an interesting situation because it was the first project I was in, and it happened within, like, a month, and I'd found out later on after that one that that's rare in the very low profile indie field that a project actually happens within a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, I got the role, I recorded my lines within 2 weeks, and project came out within a month. It was a video game called, Tracia: Curse of the Blighted Ones, and it was by no means a high profile video game or anything. It was just something, the guy had made just for, like, himself and his friends, and that was really only how it was released, so, really nobody could find I wouldn't be able to show you anything of it besides maybe, like, pictures or something, because he didn't release it to anybody but us and his friends. But after that, I just kind of just continued to just, do auditions and I kept getting cast for roles, and I'm just still doing that currently.
Okay, that's a decent starting point for any actor of any variety. I'm honestly just impressed that you're keeping on the way that you do, because so many people just jump in. They feel like, this wasn't the major start to get in the big league, so I guess I'm gonna quit. So it's nice and refreshing to hear that people are just like, I started from humble beginnings. I'm still working for it. It's nice.
Oh, definitely, and I feel the same way, exactly what you said there. If, like, somebody will start out and they won't get cast for the highest profile Twitter role within a month of voice acting, and then they're just like, "Oh, I give up." It's like, no, I enjoy this too much, and I value it too much to just, like, give up out of that, and even now, if I don't get cast for high profile Twitter roles, whatever, it's fine with me. Uh, that's the thing is I'm a huge advocate of submit and forget, submit an audition and forget about it. And in my personal experience, the best way to do that is to keep auditioning because if you audition for something awesome, like a high profile role on Twitter, and fixate on it, you're gonna get really upset when you don't get it. But if you audition for an awesome role like that, and then you continue to audition for other stuff that is just as awesome or is as fulfilling as that, it's not gonna bother you nearly as much. It doesn't bother me at all. It never really did, but uh, it's very I'm very secure in that I don't feel like horrible when I go on and see a cast announcement on Twitter of a role that I auditioned for and I didn't get.
And that is a good way to have a good attitude about it all. But I think with all that as a nice snippet, I can finally go into the questions I asked one of my editors to submit my way. Because if you guys do not know, the admin for our Twitter lines up the actual interviews, and then me and one of the other editors sits down and tries to get the questions. However, since I sadly couldn't find a lot due to the fact of a lot of stuff is going on behind the scenes for our studio. The only thing that my editor could do is just get up like the generic randomizers. So Mitch, I apologize in advance for just like the first 5 just being generic stuff. It's just
No, it's okay.
a lot's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
So first thing is first. As a lot of different VAs have started to kind of get further into the indie field, a lot of individuals are kind of wondering what is their niche market. But for where you are currently, which field do you feel is going to be that one niche as a voice actor you're going to latch on to? Is it animation, video games, narration, audiobooks, audio drama? Where do you see yourself leaning towards the most at the current moment?
You know something? I really don't have one yet, and I'm happy about that because uh, it leads me to be able to be explore as much as I possibly can. I don't really. At first, I did have a preference. At first, I wasn't really into audio dramas or I wasn't really into anything besides animation and like video game stuff. And now that I've found all these just crazy, awesome, like creative types of projects that aren't so cut and dry, like this is a full blown animation and nothing else, or this is a full blown video game or nothing else. There's all these like subgenres of projects and stuff, and I found that it's just explored my creativity to have those around here now. As far as like preference goes, like I had said, I'd like to do anything, but is I guess right now currently I'd like to get into like some sort of fighting video game kind of thing, um, because that's one of my strongest suits is doing like efforts and like aggressive stuff and like yelling and fight noises and all that good stuff. And I haven't gotten excuse me, I haven't gotten too much of an opportunity to do that yet. Um, but like I said, I'm pretty open to anything of being. I almost want to not have a niche because I want to be able to be completely creative in all the fields. Uh, I'd say I don't see myself getting interested in audiobooks or narration so much because unless the audiobook is full of different characters and not just me, and same with the narration, because it's kind of I I might sound like lazy, but I don't like want to focus on I don't want to focus on one project for like months or at a time or whatever. Like because audiobooks can get up to uh, tens of thousands of words, and narration can be the same thing. And especially in the indie field, I feel a lot of that it'll be a big ripoff, and because a lot of the rates are just terrible for that stuff, and uh, and it's like and there's a lot of argument to that kind of thing, is saying, well, that's experience, but it's out there. Like there's so much out there. I don't have to settle for experience that I don't want to do. It's I can choose stuff because there's a lot of different types of mediums out there now.
Those are some good points, because you will not believe how many people come my way of just trying to say how they automatically know what they want, and I'm just sitting here like that's nice, and they come back 6 months later like I changed my mind. It's like, oh, you did? Oh, okay. What made you change your mind? And then it just comes like this whole big thing. 6 months later, new change up, and it's a little exhausting as a stupid helicopter is passing over my house when I really don't need it. Love living in the city. Um,
Right.
Next question up on the docket right here. Um, so I'm gonna have this be like a two part question because I want to like gauge things right now. So
Sure.
Mitch, you are relatively in like I want to say like the freshman class for voice actors. Like, is that a good terminology for it? Like freshman, sophomore?
I would say that as my title, but not in my ability.
Oh no, no,
Because
it's not like ability stuff. It's just like for entry stuff to get into stuff because there are people in the freshman class that do better than people like in the senior class. I've seen people that have out acted Rachel Messer, Monica Rial, Chris Sabat, and they're just like freshman class. But I never do it by skill, just like when you enter, basically.
yeah, I'd say my profile type is entry freshman kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay, okay. So since I can gauge that, my only question right now, since a lot of people, according to like my editor and a few other people in the team, do you do you like see any studio at this moment in time that you are you're driven to try and join up at this point in time? Because so many people feel like if you join a team, then your success is automatic because they open up so many doors in their mind, while kind of understanding that there's a bigger process behind it. So I like to kind of gauge that thought with people in the freshman, sophomore entry classes of stuff.
Um, I don't. I believe it would definitely open doors to any like high profile studio if you know if somehow me as an indie voice actor that doesn't have an agent got into like got into an animation studio like Funimation or Sentai or whatever animation studios are in LA or video game studios that are in LA or New York City or I can't think of the studio that's in Texas that's like openly does indie work. Crap. They do like they're like associated with like Rooster Teeth and Death Battle. I can't think of the freaking name of the studio though. Uh
RTX.
so, no, Sound Cadence.
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
sound cadence.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's who they are. So yeah, if I got into sound like if I got a Sound Cadence role, I would definitely feel like doors would be opened a little bit more to me. Um because I do believe that it's not they don't like really at least not entirely, but a lot of the times they don't like do open casting stuff. It's kind of like I think they like have a talent pool or something like that. It's my understanding, at least some of them, maybe not all of them, but I don't know. But I know like Death Battle isn't an open casting call. They like Sound Cadence does it through I'm assuming their talent pool or just other people and stuff. Um, but yeah, like different studios would open different doors for me. I would definitely agree to that.
Okay.
If that was your question,
Oh,
if that
oh,
was like what you're
oh no,
wanting.
no. I was like, is there like a particular studio that you're driven to try to join up with, like at this moment? Like, just and you already answered it with the sound cadence thing, so we're good. We're good.
Yeah, yeah. The Sound Cadence would be the most realistic because animation studios have probably the smallest circles in all of character voice acting. And video games, you know, it's extremely high profile. I don't see them casting a voice actor that doesn't have an agent kind of thing. So Sound Cadence is kind of like that middle ground because they do like professional stuff, I think, and then they do sometimes like not necessarily super high profile stuff. So that would be the most realistic, to my understanding.
Anything is possible, Mitch, and that's coming from
Right.
someone that's seen this entire industry rise, fall, and rise again in 18 years.
Right.
Uh, Next question on the docket is something that's kind of like a common question I usually ask people when they join Writers Cove. What was your voice acting inspiration? Like, what was the person, the show, or movie that made you want to pick up the mic and become a voice actor?
So this story is a little bit sad and kind of sappy and silly and stuff, but it's the truth. Okay, so uh, about 2 years ago, I've been a musician and a vocalist for 11 years, and I stopped doing that out of just I in a band if the other people aren't committed, kind of thing, and I just got I was just so done with that and the scene over here where I live in Ohio. And so I stopped doing that, and I was really kind of depressed about it because I put a lot of effort and, you know, time and creative emotion into that. So I was working uh just at a regular job, and I was pretty freaking depressed. I was like severely depressed, and I just like the weekends just sucked. So I started wanting to watch anime again, and I'd watched it before, like when I was younger, all the time. I'd watch like all of Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball and GT and Inuyasha and Cowboy Bebop. I've watched all the episodes of all those and the movies and stuff, and I love those. But and when I was depressed during this time, I was like wanting to go and rewatch them. I was like, man, I can't just keep rewatching this stuff. Like this isn't really doing it for me. So I was scrolling through, it was either Netflix or Hulu, and I seen this I seen the cover of this anime, and it was something that I didn't think I was gonna like, because I don't at that point I don't like fan service anime, or at least I didn't back then. Because I have a different understanding of it now, but back then, if I seen like a picture of a bunch of characters with girls in like skimpy outfits or something, I'd be like, "Oh, this is stupid fan service anime. I don't want to watch this." But I was scrolling, I found this show, I was like, "Oh, this looks stupid." But I clicked on it, and I noticed that it had 200 plus episodes. I was like, "Holy crap. That's as much as Dragon Ball Z had." So maybe this show is awesome or whatever. But I was still kind of hesitant, and at this point, like I said, I was really depressed, and I was like, "Screw it. You know what? I'm a straight guy. I like girls. I don't really care if this is animated. Maybe I'll watch this, and maybe it'll make me feel better seeing this silly fan service crap." Uh, and I I watched an episode, and I heard what I believe is like the most beautiful, passionate voice I've ever heard, and that was Shammy Lee as Lucy Hartfilia in the show Fairy Tale. And it was that moment, like it was instant. It was like this calling, this, you know, a silly movie calling that instantly it just like I heard her speak in this scene where Lucy was just doing this dialogue, and it was just I just felt so much better. And this was something that I never felt before, like not from Inuyasha, not from Cowboy Bebop, Dragon Ball Z, or any of that other stuff that I'd watched before that I loved. At this point in time, it was just this crazy emotion that I felt from Shammy Lee's performance. And it wasn't technically at that point I was like, "Oh, I want to be a voice actor," but it was technically at that point that I felt like I need I wanted to deliver that back to somebody that she did for me. And so I watched that all 200 plus episodes of that anime before I watched another anime. I'd binged like freaking 25 episodes in one day before. And and by about maybe like halfway through, I started like thinking about voice, because I'd seen her name I'd seen everybody else's names on the credits and stuff, and everything just started like clicking. It seemed like something that I really felt like I could be passionate about because of what she did for me. And then I just and that was pretty much it. And then actually, it's funny, after I got that calling or whatever, and I actually looked into it and wanted to try and do it, I I didn't like what I found when the thing is that I see a lot of stuff. I see a lot of professional voice actors like almost complaining that when people ask them, "How do you get into voice acting?" like it's so obvious, and they say, "Oh, just Google." Like, have you ever heard of Google? Like, I'll see like a lot of kind of smart alecky answers from professional voice actors, and I hate to say that because they're professional voice actors that I freaking love, but maybe they don't have they don't have the same concept as we do as indie voice actors because a lot of them were straight from theater and weren't in the indie scene at all. But so, but yeah, speaking of that, I did that. I Googled and I Googled how to be a voice actor or whatever. And all I got was pay to play crap. All I got was pay $300 to join Voice 123 or voices.com or whatever. And that's it. And so as a person that doesn't know anything about voice acting really, like I'm not gonna just spend $300 right off the bat or classes. That's another thing I've seen like classes and you have to pay for them and all that. And I was like, man, I'm just not gonna do that like right away. So I actually didn't go through it at that point, but I just kept watching anime and I kept watching Fairy Tail. And then I moved on to more. And I was like, I love this so much. I love their performances and I want to do that. So I looked into it again and I seen this YouTube interview of Amberly Connors, who's oddly enough, she's from Northeast Ohio like me. And she pretty much explained it all the way through of how I believe it should be explained. She told me about Casting Call Club. She told me about Behind the Voice Actors. She told me about the Voice Acting Club. And she basically said, buy a microphone, join those clubs, and go. I believe that is by far the best advice to anybody starting that wants to get into it. Because when you go on Google and you see voices.com, pay $300, $200, or however much it is to be able to do auditions and stuff. And then you got to pay, what, $100 for a decent mic or something, not decent, but starting mic. And then possibly an interface, possibly a stronger computer, all this other money. So you're in like $700, $600 or whatever. And this is all just looking at it. So that's all just way intimidating. And that's, I believe, the wrong way, the wrong information to give people that want to start out. I believe Amber did it the absolute best way because everything she said is free. Everything she said is completely open to anybody that doesn't have any experience. Casting Call Club is completely open. It's free. Behind the Voice Actors is completely free. The Voice Acting Club is completely free. And all of that is really all you need to start. That's honestly the bottom line and anymore. And so kind of that's how it all began.
That was a very compelling story, my good sir. I mean, I have my own thoughts when it comes to a lot of the stuff with the professionals, but I'm going to not bring that up because I'd rather not burn those bridges today. So I'm just going to uncomfortably scroll through this tablet to find question number 4. Oh, wait, it's 4? No, it's 3. God, I can't math. Okay, question the 3rd. This is definitely my editor Anonymous's type of question because she likes to get all introspective. For the indie scene, from what you've seen so far, which of the well, she puts in quotation higher tiers because she has the same opinion of me of like skill set is bigger a factor into our opinion than just numbers, but bigger tier indie VAs do you like look up to the most so far as like I want to be on that tier of success but in my own way?
I'd say I mean there's a couple. Honestly, probably one of the guys that that even when I started out, he was just in a lot of great stuff, and he's a great performer as well. Uh, and he's just got great enthusiasm. Would be uh, sh- uh, I can't believe I almost forgot his name just now. Pat Mealy. He's quite the enthusiastic person, and he's got quite a resume on his belt from his indie scene and stuff. So he's definitely one. And then uh crap. I don't know his I don't know if this is his real name or anything, but I think he goes by Milo VA. And I remember like one week that dude just got cast in like 3 or 4 different huge ass roles. Sorry, I cussed. I don't know if I can do that or not, but
You can. I've had different people across the board swearing, like
okay.
Suling Chan called Zeus a fuckboy.
All
Kirsten
right.
Unger and her boyfriend cursed up a storm. Yenny Ann cursed. Everyone curses on this show.
Okay.
You're fine.
All right. But yeah, he goes by like Milo VA, and he got cast for like three professional like roles that other actual professional voice actors were in. I think is one was like a video game called like Liquidation or something like that, and uh, there were like professional voice actors on that, and then he got like cast for like he just had a really good month that one month. So definitely if I could like get on as well, and in relation to him, because I think they're kind of a thing. I assume her name's uh her online name was like Luna Freya or something. I knew that because she auditioned for one of my projects and I auditioned for one of hers, and then I kind of see her name around a lot, and I think her real name's Cat something, Cat Pro. I don't remember her last name, but she also was a person that I've seen get cast in a lot of huge stuff, and she's only, to my understanding, not been voice acting very long. So, uh, definitely someone like her, if I could get to getting cast to stuff that she and all the others do, and oh, of course, and she was already on this podcast, and she would be considered a professional, I'm pretty sure, but she still like to does indie stuff. Amanda Hufford, if I could like you know, get cast in this type of stuff that she does, that'd be definitely a great milestone for me. And uh, yeah, I think that's a good couple examples I can think of right now. Just right off the bat, yeah.
It's a very nice list.
Right.
Okay, now for question number 4. No, that's a tax form. I need to sign off later. That's spam. Here we go. Question the 4th. For everything that you can kind of see with voice acting, from I ask this as like a big question for all people, no matter where they're starting from, because it's a big topic that needs to keep on being talked about, obviously. But with all the stuff that's reshaping from conversations being had about having these roles for specific people of this walk of life, for this people of this credence, for this person that is of color, with the discussions that are happening right now to try and make it less of a compact field that feels isolated towards others, where do you think these talks are going to lead up to for the industry in hypothetically 5 years' time with how these conversations are going?
I think it's going to lead to great things for people of color, for bi people of color, for anybody honestly non-white. I think they're conversations that absolutely should be be had, and they are being had, and I think it's absolutely fantastic that they have these um all all African American casting calls, and all people of color, by people of color casting calls, and Because if I mean, it's just as simple as looking at the history of voice acting as animation in video games. How many people of color do you see? You don't see that many. You don't, and you rarely see them as main characters. They're always, and it sucks that I have to say. It sucks that I am saying this, and I have to say this, the fact that when they do get cast or when they are created, they're like stereotypes of people of color, and it's kind of messed up for the past. Now, it's gotten a lot better now, to my understanding, and well, not to my understanding, that I believe and that I've seen, and like of people of color getting cast as main roles and all that good stuff. It's not. I don't believe it's at the point that it should be, because I don't believe they are getting the consideration that they should get yet. But I think it's getting there. And I think it's great. I see this crap on Twitter a lot, all the times. White dudes like myself complaining about when they say people of color is required and all this. I'm like, it's like, dude, and maybe they probably don't understand it at first, because they think of the whole, well, like, if people of color can audition for white people, why can't white people audition for people of color? And it's just not that simple. It's a significant culture difference. It's at least I believe, and it's just the representation is just, it's a lot more. It's honestly, what's the word? It's a lot more important to people of color than honestly it is to white people. And what I mean by that is because I guess I could say white people are the broadest cast actors. So they've been put into all situations and all types of acting situations is what I meant. And so they've gotten to explore like everything. They're the broadest cast actors in the world. So it's much more important to have people of color be cast for them, that require that or prefer that, because it's like they cast them and they made those roles. At least I would hope that they made those roles to make that character as interesting, as complex, to have as many layers and depth as possible. But because currently, because it didn't happen before. It didn't happen before to anybody but white characters, and that's it. So for the most part, it's there's probably exceptions out there, but in the past, but it's a point. It's a point that they want to have to make, is that they're trying to bring more people of color to having more important roles than just stereotypes and typical stuff.
That was nice, man. I appreciate that answer.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
Like, I know people listening to this just like, Lion Founder, why do you keep asking this question? But it's like, guys, as a minority that's been doing this since he was 9 years old, this is a nice time to finally talk about how things are evolving and how I want these things to keep evolving. It's a big topic.
Why are you asking the question? Because it's freaking important. It's hugely important.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get talked about enough.
So, me having that big, heavy topic aside, because I already know a few people are just watching this again, just like, this man just really trying to make us uncomfortable. I don't appreciate this. It's like, if you're uncomfortable, then you're kind of the problem. Anyway, next question on the docket. This is a fun one. I kind of had stuck in my mind after I left my contract with NBC a couple of years back, but what is your dream role and why? It could be in anything. Like, it could be a live action role, voice acting role, music video role. It doesn't matter. It's just this one fun thing that every actor kind of dreams of and we all strive for the most interesting reasons. But what is your dream role, Mitch?
It's typical. Be a complex anime character. But I have other like that's my number one because of what Shammy Lee did for me. There's nothing's ever gonna change that for me for this career, and that'll always be the very one thing that I want to do is become a complex anime character that just inspires and can literally heal someone like she did for me because she literally pretty much cured my depression at that point. Uh, and when I say I was depressed, I didn't have anybody to talk to. I didn't get along with family members. And at this point now, I actually haven't talked to them in like 4 years. But at that point, the people I worked with, I honestly couldn't stand. So I'd go home, I'd go to work annoyed, come home pissed off, annoyed. Didn't have any friends to talk to or vent to about being pissed off and annoyed about that. No family members or anything. And Jeremy Lee and the rest of the cast of that show in general, Fairy Tale, is it literally cured any kind of loneliness and just any kind of depression that I had because I just heard this human being that just brought out this incredible, like warm, loving, passionate voice in with what Shammy Lee did. And I wanted to, and that was the things I wanted to bring that back. So everybody's going to be like eye rolling at the idea that I want to be an anime character and that'd be my number one, but it's extremely special to me to do that. But like I said, if we can stop this question, but I can also add if you wanted me to, I have others that I'd like, but if you'd like to talk about that later, we can, but it's up to you.
You can add on if you want. The floor is yours.
Couple more. Okay. I'd love to be like a video game character like Leon Scott Kennedy from Resident Evil, or Raiden from Metal Gear Solid. Those two, something like those would definitely be like huge for me. And then an NPC, a named non-playable character in a Souls-like video game. You're familiar with Dark Souls? You've heard about it or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah. So I'd love to be a named character in something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be Dark Souls, but just that sort of medieval kind of like either that or the Elder Scrolls or anything like that. Just some really awesome like quality NPC or playable character, either way. Just something really interesting and unique kind of character. And one of those, and then I think that's probably and anything else that's kind of just just awesome, whatever kind of fighting games or anything like that. But those would be like my top like 4.
Okay. It's a nice menagerie to have on staple. I can appreciate that.
Thank you.
Now for the next question on this docket. Anonymous, I know you're editing this, so I want you to know I appreciate your systematic thing on this tablet. It's doing wonders. So this is just a nice, easy, breezy question I like to ask people to break up the monotony, because every interview show makes you just kind of feel like you're having a cold sweat like a Key and Peele sketch. But could you walk us through a day in the life of being Mitch Xander, like away from the microphone, away from all this whole creative stuff? Just give us a small taste of what it is to be you, sir.
Believe it or not, it's not really any different from being on the mic to being off the mic. I literally revolve pretty much my entire life around it, but the little things I can talk about. So ever since the pandemic started, I chose not to go back to my job, and because I have a living situation that's very, very lucky. I live in a house that my landlords are very, very generous with the rent. They literally don't make a profit off of the rent because they made it so low for me because of the situation. There's kind of some problems with the house, and the problems will cost them more than what the house costs itself to fix. So, and they have to keep paying taxes, and they're retired, so they don't have any income coming in. So they would be hemorrhaging money every month because they have to pay taxes on the house for somebody that isn't for if they're it's not being rent to anybody. So they rent it to me at a very, very low rate because they want me to stay here because they don't want to be hemorrhaging money. And if I would leave, they probably wouldn't be able to give it to somebody else because it kind of has problems that would be hard to sell to somebody that doesn't know them. I know them, and I've lived here for 5 years, and I'm all right with it. But yeah, so that's the situation. So I didn't go back to work because I didn't really have to yet. Uh, but that's coming up here, and I might be making some big moves here in the next couple months. But so far, the past about since April, I've been home without working. So so I pretty much get up, eat something, whatever, like watch TV or something, and I'll check out auditions online. And like I said, it's still everything I do is still based off of voice acting because it's all I have to do right now. So I'll do all that stuff, and maybe I'll play some like video games or something if I want to take my mind off of stuff. But that's honestly it. I don't have people coming to my house. I don't really talk to anybody. It's literally just me. Nobody's been in this house besides me for since that April. There hasn't been a single person in this house besides me since April. There hasn't been a dog in this house since April, or anything. It's just been just me. I also don't go to anybody's house. I'm a big advocate of being safe during this pandemic right now. Um, I literally leave my house to go buy food, or if I absolutely like have to do something, like I had to like renew my license a couple like weeks ago, or whatever. But that's all I do. So at this point, I'm kind of it's still a day in the life of me being away from the mic is pretty much just regular stuff, nothing else really. Just pretty much revolves still around the mic.
That's a very nice and quaint answer. I'm not gonna lie, because so many guests on this show have so many interesting and diverse answers. Christian
Fine.
O'Boyle and his wife get to wake up to probably the dream life we all strive for of a perfectly good breakfast with their child. Kelsey Mayer gets to write near a hot tub, and I'm like, are y'all looking for like roommates or something?
Some and honestly, I'm happy with it for right now. I like I said, I'm not really depressed anymore because I have something that's excuse me, I have something that's to fixate my time with,
Right.
and just and I don't as far as like the rest of my life goes, I wouldn't want to keep doing it like this for the rest of my life. I'd like to like get friends eventually, but right now I'm totally all right with just chilling and being safe and keeping everybody else safe and stuff like that.
Social distance respects.
Yeah.
I have at least a few more questions on the tablet, but I figured at this point I could do the whole table flip I normally do at this point, to where, Mitch, if you want to ask anything of me, you can. However, I am taking two questions off of the table, which is how I started, as well as what has been my favorite role, because those two have been the most asked questions thus far, and I feel like people are sick of me saying them.
Sure. um does it have to be voice acting related?
It doesn't. I'd keep the door pretty open.
All right, what's your favorite movie Or what's a couple of your favorite movies?
A couple of my favorite movies. Number one, Sunshine of a Spotless Mind, because that started my whole thing about wanting to be a psychiatrist so badly.
Interesting. I haven't heard of that one.
It's a film about Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, where they used to be a couple, but thanks to a machine that was used by I forget the actor's name, it's erasing their memories of each other, but they find each other again to start a relationship up despite all that, because deep down, even if you try to forget someone that you have a connection with, somewhere in your synapse that connects to probably your soul makes you want to go back to them if you feel like it's worth it. And that was a pretty nice message for me. uh, Other people were just like, that's crazy, man, that don't sound right. Okay.
What
uh
sounds crazy is Jim Carrey in a serious role.
oh yeah, he was in a very serious, the director told him to be serious for majority of the movie. that
That's
was
crazy.
that was so weird. Another one is The Crow, because
Yeah, hell yeah.
Brandon Lee was so good in that movie, and it still hurts my heart to hear that the prop guy gave the actor a real gun by accident.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It's like, prop master, what were you doing? Like, what was the point of doing that?
I don't know, it's a weird situation, I guess.
Yeah. Another one of my favorites is kind of controversial to people because of it being a disaster movie. They're like, why do you like it? Because it's a horrifying memory to Americans. And I'm like, I like it because of the story. But remember me starring Robert Pattinson, where like the plot twist at the end is it's all ending on September 11th, 2001, where he's in one of the Twin Towers when he's dead after trying to reconnect with his girlfriend.
Yeah, that's important stuff.
And I'm just like, I like it because it was a relatable story about a guy that was down on his luck in a crappy apartment, just trying to date this one person, not be with his kind of emotionally and financially abusive father who makes him and his little sister feel like trash. So yeah, I like the movie. I don't care that it's tied to 9/11. It's a good movie regardless.
Yeah, absolutely.
And another one that I like comes from a French Iranian director called Persepolis, where it's an animated autobiography of this lady that was born in Tehran before the Islamic wars broke out, to where she started off her life trying to be a radical, also as the speaker of God, because when you're apparently young, you can talk to deities, and no one told us this. Then she grew up in Vienna to be like normal teenagers, where we all go through a grungy state in our lives of being like, fuck society, we're gonna date whoever we want, and then just be with utter trash because we don't have standards yet. And it's just a very decently paced film that, from being a comic book adaptation of someone's real life to then be a movie about the comic book about someone's real life, I'm like, this is honestly fascinating.
Oh yeah.
It's just those couple of movies that kind of are my favorites, like the ones that make me kind of think more rather than just. And I know someone out there is probably just like, I hate the director because I hate him, but I just don't like a lot of Michael Bay movies. I like to think after I watch a movie. I don't want to just be like, oh my god, boobs, explosion, president, something involving helicopters, sunsets. No.
In the same way.
Michael Bay is not for me. It's an opinion. Just stop trying to shove that whole other opinion down my throat. It's never gonna work.
Right.
But yeah, that's my list of some of my favorite movies.
Very nice.
Anything else you want to ask, Mitch?
Uh, I guess. What about what's your favorite video game if you play any?
Oh, I've been playing video games for so long. It's hard. Um,
Top three.
Top three. That's easier.
There you
Number
go.
three, I would always say is Yakuza 4 because it's
Oh,
so
that's
good.
interesting.
Uh, Number two, I would probably say. I'd probably say number two is Persona 3
Oh, nice.
because that got me into the franchise for Atlas like no one's business. And number one, Shadow of the Colossus.
Nice.
Something about open ended games kind of speaks to me a lot more volumes than just giving me the plot details. Don't know why.
Not really sure if I have any more questions. Can't think of any at the moment.
Okay. And I'll just flip the tables back over and get on to the last few questiones. Next question I have on the tablet is what? Oh, hold on. Let me read this again. Okay. What new projects are you looking forward to auditioning for? Since I know 2020 has just been people creating like crazy, but also at that same time, people being a little bit weary of releasing because COVID kind of makes people's motivations drop, which I know firsthand from a lot of actors on my roster. But still, what projects are you looking forward to the most to audition for soon-ish for?
Uh, well, I don't have any pending auditions. I audition usually right when the casting call comes out. Um, but I guess I can answer with what project am I looking forward to seeing the casting announcements or if I'm being cast for or not. Uh, there's a video game being made called Serial Killers. That one looked really awesome, and I auditioned for two roles for that. Um, and a recent, I think it was an audio drama, um, called shit. Hmm. Okay, well I can't. Okay, that's a bad example because I can't think of the name of it. But there was that. What else? See, I audition a lot. It's hard for me to remember. Like I was saying earlier, I don't fixate on auditions, so a lot of the times I don't even remember. Like I got cast for a couple. I got cast for something, and then today actually, I have an interview later tonight with a project for a Vancouver film company in Canada, and they got back to me and said, uh, if you want to if you want to try and if you want this role, let's do a short interview and we'll see how it goes, kind of thing. So I have that tonight, and um, crap, I forget what I was saying before that. uh, yeah, oh yeah, and I had forgotten that I got cast for this Destiny fandub project. It's like an audio drama based off the video game Destiny, and and they sent me the casting email for that, and that's probably a good thing that when I get cast and I don't remember what it was. So literally submitting and forgetting actually worked. And I'm like, oh, wait a minute, because they I think, oh yeah, no, obviously they wanted me to record lines, so it's like, oh, I gotta remember what I did first of all, and so that was cool because I get to play this uh mutant robot thing that, and I got to do some really intense stuff, and I love doing aggressive stuff, um, and I get to like make like really awesome monster noises and stuff, so that's gonna be cool. And as far as casting projects, like, yeah, honestly, I can't really think of any because I've already auditioned for them, and now I don't remember them now.
That's more than fine. I just kind of figured I'd ask that since on the generic thing for notes, Anonymous kind of wrote that a lot of people have been looking forward to so many things this year for both mainstream and indie towards like, screw it. Why don't we just ask? What's the harm?
Right.
And if people are just like, yeah, and we're just like, yeah, okay. Next to last question on this here tablet. I'm trying to discern one of these letters right now because it kind of looks a little bit wonky.
Sure.
I hate technology sometimes. Okay, now I get it. It was just a weird error. This is going to sound odd, I admit, but it's the way it's typed out.
Go for it.
So, as a person in the freshman and or sophomore class, how would you like to celebrate going into the junior or senior class of voice actors when the time comes?
Uh, I don't really know. I mean, I don't necessarily feel like one role would do that for me. It'd probably have to be a couple. Even if I did get into like sound cadence or something, I'd probably get like a boost, like a Twitter follower boost, uh and they might get in contact with me again, but I still have to audition for roles and stuff. I still have to put in the work to get cast and be what they're looking for and put on a good performance. So uh is I don't know. I probably wouldn't celebrate much at all. I'd probably just keep doing what I'm doing, keep doing the grind, and keep auditioning for stuff uh, and networking and all that.
Okay.
That's kind of my legit realistic answer. I can't really feel like I would celebrate too much. I'd go on Twitter and be like, holy crap, I just got cast in for this. This is freaking awesome.
I
But
respect it.
probably be it.
I respect it. No offense to all my flashy friends, I just kind of respect it more when people are more just low key. But there's no disrespect. I'm just like, subtlety is sometimes nice. Guys, like, no, I gotta tell everyone. Sometimes you don't have to.
You're not going to see me retweet the same announcement over and over every day or something like that. You'll see me do it once, and if I have potentially something else addition to it that I forgot to say or something, I'll say it again. But I won't. I more than likely won't freak out over it more than like a day.
I respect it. I got no other words for it. I just really respect it because I'm a little bit drained whenever people are just super hyped about the stuff. Just like, I gotta tell everyone. It's like, okay, I kind of stopped telling people what I got into like years ago, but okay.
I see that a lot, and it's cool, it's fine, but like I agree with you too. It's almost like they're throwing it in people's faces somewhat, and like I said, I usually announce all my roles on Twitter, but uh, it's I don't I don't I don't I don't announce opportunities really. I don't announce that like um hey, this person contacted me. I'm so happy about it kind of thing. Uh I don't really do that. And I don't want to put down anybody that does that, but just for me personally, excuse me, I don't really do that, and I kind of do feel like it could affect other people that might be following me, that it might make them feel bad kind of thing. Um Potentially. But yeah, I don't unless it's a full-blown cast announcement or well, honestly, I normally don't because if I did a casting announcement, I'd be doing one like every freaking week because I get cast for a lot of stuff. I've been cast for over 50 original roles since I've started voice acting, but only like 10 of them have been released. So I usually only like to announce the ones that have been released. Or if the person that made the casting call announced it on Twitter, maybe I'll usually like retweet the casting announcement or something. But the 40 plus roles that I've been cast from CCC and the couple from Voice Acting Club that haven't really seen the light of day yet. I didn't announce it when I got them, and I'm not just gonna randomly do it now until they have something to show for it. That's kind of the sucky thing about indie stuff is so many of them, like 90% of them, start casting and looking for voice actors way too soon. There's no reason to have them wait, to voice act. The project should be 80 to 90% finished before you start casting people. Um, unless you have this team that can bust this project out in a month, and most of the time that's never ever the case. It's usually like 5 months or 6 months or whatever, and that is usually to get like one episode out of something or even like a teaser for something. And that's the thing is I see that stuff from legit like video games, like professional looking video games that are like on the borderline of becoming um console games. They're like on the line of Steam and stuff like that, but it looks so good and they're getting a huge Kickstarter fundraiser stuff going on. They got this Patreon stuff and they've casted all these voice actors and all they've gotten done is a trailer. And I've seen since in the year I've been voice acting, I've seen stuff like that and it'll be all these announcements from the voice actors and then I haven't seen a thing since. I haven't seen, hey, you can buy this video game here, whatever, or you can buy this or you can watch this series. Okay, I take that back. I have seen video games get released. Video games and visual novels and stuff like that, they usually do get released, but animations are terrible for getting released, it seems, in the indie field. Probably because they're in over their head and animation takes so long and takes so much work to make it if it's going to be any good at all. And even if it's not good, it still takes a lot of work to animate and all you'll get is a trailer and they'll cast voice actors and then you don't hear anything for a year because it's just too much work for their team or they're not willing to pay their team enough for them to stay or whatever, or they're doing everything themselves. And when they do that, they're going to take forever to do anything. So it never gets like officially announced for anything more than a trailer like episode 1.
Yeah, it sadly does get like that, and well, me and my team are guilty of that, but it's hard trying to get so much stuff out in the indie scene for so many different reasons.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna go down that sad train today. But here we go. The final questione on this tablet. No, that's another spam message. This tablet, I swear, there's so many things of like spam mail, taxes, and then just random stuff of, do you want to play poker tonight? It's like, nope, I don't. I don't know where this came from, but okay. Um, So the final question is kind of one of our easy breezy ones, I suppose, which is a nice way to end off a nice old podcasty interview. So, if you were to get all of the materials that everyone is pining after, like the big plush recording booth with insulated AC that just magically turns on when you walk in, um, every program in the book that you can make your voice sound like it's like in a movie trailer, and getting all this sort of graphic stuff to then just be like, hey guys, I made this whole entire thing, and it's also almost like a music video with all the graphics going on to make it seem like it's like 2 to 4K, all with a ratio above 1,000x whatever. If you were to get all of that, like just whenever the moment does come, what would you name said setup? Like everyone likes to name their setups like the most outlandish things. Like one of my friends that has their own recording studio, they're saying they call it the laboratory. One of the people that I knew a long time ago, they had like this big recording stuff for when they did commercial real stuff that they called the factory. What would be your name for like that big dream setup of yours?
It would be this for sale on Craigslist.
This for sale on Craigslist.
Yes, because I really don't need that stuff. My booth is fine. I've compared my setup to setups that are like $2,000, and it practically sounds the freaking same. I have a probably $600-700 setup. I have an Audio Technica 4040. It's about a $300 to $400 mic. I don't remember exactly. I have my closet is acoustically treated with 3 to 4 layers of moving blankets, including the ceiling. I got simple stuff like pop filter and all that, and I have an interface. It's like a $120 interface. My laptop is my laptop I bought before this, so it doesn't really count, but it's a $700 laptop that's specifically for being very fast. It's the fastest laptop or computer I've ever had. So it's great for video editing if I'm making a project myself, and recording is absolutely nothing to it. So all of that is not much. So I would sell it, honestly. I'd sell it and do something else with it. I wouldn't call it. I'd call it for sale on Craigslist. That's exactly what I'd call it.
That's the funniest things I've ever heard. Here for sale on Craigslist. Man, that's got to be a comedy sketch now. You have to now record it and then just have whatever else you're gonna have, like get one of your friends to be like the one buying it, and then just kind of explain the whole situation. Like, boy, what?
Make a big montage and make the video seem like in the beginning that I'm like creating this extravagant booth, and have like the fast forward thing while like building all this stuff and like buying all this stuff and putting it all together, and have the final thing be me taking a picture and then putting the ad on Craigslist.
Yes, this has
Big
to be a
montage.
thing now. I don't even care if you got to use like a fake box and just have like a random speed up of different footage together. I kind of want to see this. I kind of want to see this now.
Hell yeah. And I noticed. Am I able to promote the things I've been in, kind of thing?
You can. I have nothing against anyone promoting their stuff in this podcast interview. The Cove Club is for promotion of all things.
Okay. Yeah, just if you want to hear some of the projects I've been in that actually got released, I'm in the official Starstream webtoon dub. It's not a fan dub. The creator and the artist oversee the project and the casting of it. I voiced all the male extras in that, and you can just go on YouTube and put in Starstream webtoon. I'm sure you'll find it. It's because the webtoon's fairly new and should be the only thing that comes up. Or you can just go to my Twitter and just go down, and you'll find that I've shared a couple videos. I don't share that much stuff, so you'll be able to find it quickly. Um, then I voice a character called Roderick in, believe it or not, a Gacha Life series. And the thing is this is it's very, very well animated. It's not like made by, it doesn't look like a piece of crap made by a 13-year-old. It's very well done. That it's honestly like world class and tweening or whatever animation. I don't know what that guy. I don't know what the director feeds his freaking animators, but it looks amazing. And I'm in that, and I'm also in, once again, a a show that's from a medium that's very looked down on as like low profile and silly. It's a Sims show, but make no mistake, this show could be on like Netflix. It's so well written. It's called Ward University. And I voiced the role Gideon in episode 1. I'm not in episode 2, but I'm in episode 1. And that's honestly probably my favorite role now because of how well it's written. I don't even have that many lines in that show for the first episode, but it's just so freaking well done. It, like I said, it should be on Netflix. So if you want to check that out, Ward University, put that in on Webtoon, or not Webtoon, put that in on YouTube. And then I'm also in an audio drama called Yandere Stories. It's pretty popular. I play Tatsumi in it, and unfortunately I don't remember the episode now, but once again, if you go to my Twitter and scroll down a little bit, you'll find it fairly easily. I've probably shared a total of like 15, 20 posts in all my entire feed of Twitter, so easy to find my roles. and there's a couple more on there of like webtoon dubs of that I've done, of the unofficial webtoon dubs, fan dubs of webtoons on there, and that's currently about it. I'm hopefully waiting on some really awesome stuff to come out here soon that I've been cast for recently. But that's about it for me.
Okay, that's a pretty decent roster of stuff. And before anyone else is just like, Lion Founder, don't say that. You've had people like, just stop. Stop.
Uh,
This is not a competition. I may bring
Oh,
up all the people that have been in this show, but that's because a lot of people try to ask like certain things about who you've had on the show, blah blah blah. I just do that to kind of just have people just shut the hell up. But
oh, I'm completely fine with it being low profile. The fact is that Gacha Life show I'm in, it initially started off as unpaid, and he must be doing really good because he started paying me my rates, like full blown my voice acting rates, which is something that's absolutely unheard of for Gacha Lives. It's usually like $10 for the whole project, but he started paying me my full blown rates with the minimums because it's been doing so good. He's got like 200,000 subscribers on his YouTube, but with that stuff, it doesn't really pay that much, and the crowd and the audience is a bunch of kids, and they probably don't watch it very much. But it's so well done and it's so well scripted that the kids are probably watching the full. Well, actually, they say they are. I look at the comments. He's got like 200 comments on his stuff saying, "Oh my god, I love this. I've rewatched it so many times." So he's getting money for all the ads going by, if they watch the ads or not during that that time. So he offered his payment too. I initially accepted the role, it being unpaid, and I never asked about money. And I just told him, "Hey, thanks so much for letting me be a part of this. I really enjoyed this." And he was like, "Oh, you're so welcome. And by the way, payments will be starting after this episode. Just give me your PayPal." I was like, "Well, hell yeah." And so, and I got a role on CCC from a Patreon project. It's not a Patreon for something else. It's literally like a Patreon project. Like it's exclusive to Patreon, and I got paid $100 for that. So I have no complaints of being a low profile actor if I can make 3 digits.
that's always good. That is always good, Mitch. I'm kind of just growing tired as probably that one old man in the room. They're just like, so you've been doing this for 18 years and you don't want to talk about your
Yep.
credits? No, I don't. When do I ever want to talk about what I've done with anybody? So anyway, enough about me being the old man in the rocking chair with a glass of bourbon in one hand and I think a cane in the other. I don't know. I never know what's in the other hand. Could be a banana, an apple, a cane, magazine.
All the above.
Probably. But I have run out of questions for the tablet, and honestly, I can't even think of like any questions off the top of my head I want to ask because it's 2020 has just been very, very draining, guys. We're almost done with the year, but I feel like I've aged another 30 years.
Yeah, it feels like it's been a lot longer than a year.
But Mitch, I appreciate you being a guest for us on Cove Club. You've been wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Now, brain, think, because we're trying to do the thing. Thank you for kicking in at that last moment. So, if you guys want to check out all the stuff that Mitch is up to, we're leaving his socials and even a few links to a couple of his projects in the description below for us on YouTube. If you guys listen to this on Spotify, you're kind of SOL. Gotta go to our YouTube for all that stuff. Along with that, make sure you guys keep up to date with all of us on our own stuff on social medias, on our Twitter, our Instagram, our own official website that is still being updated with even more stuff going on currently. And if you guys want to help support this whole entire production so that we can get even better graphics, and maybe when COVID is done, we'll do in-person interviews with these talents, make sure you guys go to our Patreon, become a patron today, because not only do you pay for getting higher quality shows and even getting some stuff like some 3D animation stuff that we're working on in the near future that might include us hiring Mitch down the line, but you then also help provide giant paychecks for our actors that do deserve it for all the hard work that they've done thus far. Anyway, with all that stuff being said and done, I have been the Lion Founder, and my guest today has been...
Me, Mitch Xander. Right. Was that supposed to finish that?
Yes. It's like that one stage actor, just like, I'd like to thank my lovely guest. Oh, it was me. Oh. They are caught off unaware. It's just like, oh, I didn't know I was supposed to finish that line.
Kept me on my toes. I like that.
And we will see you guys in our collective endeavors next time.